Okay, this is my React tutorial series. React is a framework for writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It is a wonderful framework. It allows you to compartmentalize your code and write reusable code. It really simplifies things. It's completely free to use. And I write React on the with the PyCharm text editor, which is loading right now. I should have done this earlier, but sorry. So yeah, so come over and download this if you want to get started and create a React app. Not React Native, let me just say that. But in this episode anyway, we're just going to be going over some of the basics of React and just explaining React. And then in the next episode, we're going to do the whole Hello World shenanigans. Then after that, we're going to start building our React app with Bootstrap and SASS. All right. So what we are going to do is we're going to explain how React works. So it's written in a dialect of JavaScript called JSX. So JSX is basically JavaScript that ultimately gets compiled down into HTML. So if you know HTML, you know JSX. There's only a few differences. Instead of class, you use class name. And that's pretty much it. It has self-closing tags, which I don't see any here, but they'll pop up eventually. So if you're familiar with JavaScript, you know you have functions. So the essence of React is you're creating HTML functions basically, and you can reuse those functions. And just like JavaScript functions take arguments, your JSX functions will take arguments. So it allows you to write reusable code. So this is our app function. You see our basic HTML, and ultimately it accumulates to this. Very nice styling. I love the logo. But now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. So when you create a React app, all this stuff pops up automatically. It's pre-built with the app, at least in PyCharm. But we'll come over to index.js and we'll see that we have this function React DOM render. Then we have our app component, which we import from here. So basically, we're writing our function in a separate file. We're importing it, and we are running it in this render method. And then we are rendering the component at the element of name root. Well, where is the element root? We come over to, oh, sorry, wrong folder. We come over to public, we go to index.html, and we see, boom, ID root. So the component we are rendering root will be right here. All right, now, unfortunately, we're going to erase the beautiful app thing, whatever, our beautiful app component, and then we are going to start writing code because that is how you learn. We're going to do h1 hello world, do h2. This is Corey's React tutorial, exclamation point. And we'll add some inline styling just because we can cover that quick. Style equals, so then you do curly brace, and then it takes a map. So we'll do color. We'll pass it the string orange. So when you do curly braces, you go to regular JavaScript. You're getting out of JSX and going to regular JavaScript. And then the second curly braces are just a regular JavaScript map. If that confuses you, don't worry about it. We'll get to it later. What do I want to do? I want to do style, and actually, we'll leave the styling off of this right now, but we'll see what our thing looks like. So we come over here, we press Command R. Oh crap! Did I shut off the server? Oh, I did. All right, good. But anyway, so you want to start your server on the local host. You just press play right here. It's nice and easy. Takes a little bit. Let's see. Takes a little bit. This is awkward. I hope I'm not boring you. But yeah, so the basic gist of React is that you can write reusable code. So that's about it. You don't have to, and you can compartmentalize your code, so you're not reading 1,000 lines of HTML. It is a pretty hireable thing. All right, so this worked. We got Hello World. This is Corey's React tutorial. Yeah, that's about it. But oh yeah, React developers make a ton, so you'll love this tutorial if you know React. But now what we're going to do is we're going to make our own functional component. We're going to leave our server running. We're going to come over to our terminal. Then we're going to cd into source. So now we were in this folder, but now we're in this folder. And what we're going to do is we're going to do touch greeting.js. And to get this to show up, you just close the folder, open it, and we see greeting.js. So now we are going to create our own component. We're going to do import React from React. I might have done that wrong. Hold on. Did I do that wrong? I definitely did. Import React from React. I think I got to do this. Why is this being highlighted? Oh, all right, because it's never used. Then we're going to do function. And the common practice is to name our function name, the name of the file. It just makes things easier to remember. So we're going to do function greeting, boom, boom, and then we are going to return and then before we do anything, we're going to do export default and then our function name. So this just makes it available in other files. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do p style color. I guess we'll do a random hex value. 5 F8. Hopefully that looks good. And oh, I forgot these other curly braces. So we'll just do that. And then close our p tag. Custom function. Oh, custom component actually. I mean, same thing. So a component is just a reusable code. They have class-based and functional-based components. Class-based components are trash. I wouldn't even bother using them at this point because you can just use function ones. Class-based take up way too many lines of code. Just pointless. So now what we're going to do is we are going to import greeting from greeting. So now our greeting component is available. And to render the component, we do it the same way as an HTML tag. And we see that, yep, our tag is self-closing. We're going to fix our code. On Mac, this is Command-Option-L in PyCharm, and it indents everything nicely for us. So one more thing. One of the basics of React is that you can only return one element inside of each component. So we're only returning this div element. So that's just one element. If we were to make another div down here, or a p, we'd get an error. So yes, we have multiple elements, but they're all contained inside of one parent element. So just one element can be returned, but it can have as many children as you want. So if you're trying to return more than one element, that's not going to work. Just throw it inside the parent and it'll work. Anyway, now we're going to come over to our app. We're going to do Command-R to refresh. And we should get our greeting to load. This is, oh, that's actually a nice shade of green. So we got our custom component right here. All right, that is it for this video. This was just an introduction. The basics that I want you to take away are React is a way of writing reusable HTML. You do it in JavaScript and JSX. Well, you use it in JSX. JSX is a dialect of JavaScript, and you use functions as to compartmentalize your code. React renders everything at the ID of root, and lastly, you just need to know that each functional component and class-based component can only return one element, but that element can have as many children as possible. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install SASS. But we'll do that in the next video. It does take a little while. You got to let your computer load. You got to have Wi-Fi. But if you haven't used SASS, SASS is actually a way of writing CSS functions. So if you know CSS, you know SASS. But it's CSS with superpowers. It really is. Let me just... I love SASS. I'm so sorry. But yeah, you can use variables, functions, all sorts of good stuff. So yeah. We will do that in the beginning of the next video. Thank you for watching.